jealous because I look. Hi.
When is the game sheet?
I bet I left the game sheet upstairs, haven't I?
There's no commentary.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're 90 seconds away from the gold medal game. Under 19 men, Great Britain versus New Zealand. So, as we can see, we have both teams having their prep talk before the game, getting ready to set up.
I left it upstairs, I'll go get it. Ed, do you want to set it up and plug both mics in for me? Okay. Do you want to set it up and plug both mics in, and then hopefully I'll get a driver soon.
So, commentating here, Joseph Ravang, Canadian referee, and Lewis, our pro commentator, also commenting that game. Hopefully as impartially as possible. Though, as from Great Britain, we all know how he's probably going to feel about that game. So, the two teams squared off during the round robin twice. First game was a 3-0 win for New Zealand on the first day. And the second game was a 10-0 win for New Zealand on Tuesday. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a gold medal game. So what has happened before doesn't mean anything. As you've seen in the last game, Colombia pushed New Zealand all the way in the under 19 ladies final. And we're off. First strike of the game. And for the moment, it's getting pretty much on the close wall. Both teams are exchanging tackles and hits. Puck isn't moving very much. And then we see New Zealand trying to open up the play. And that's a very good switch as they got close to, well, they got deep into GB's territory. They're actually pretty close to the goal right now. A great attack in the first 30 seconds, and I think the puck went in. Now it's just waiting on the refs to confirm. 1, 2, 3. We got a goal. Goal for 10 from New Zealand.
It's Heath Galloway with the opening goal, and GB going behind early.
So a goal in the first minute is never a bad thing. So as you can see, New Zealand has all the momentum right now.
Yes, Bernie Talling's squad, they like to go behind early and then come back in finals, has been the statement for a lot of time. I'm not sure he would have wanted this for his players, and New Zealand on the attack again really look way out ahead as Aidan Heath gives a lovely layoff, but it's a good back tackle there by Jackson Spry, who comes away the swimmer, trying to compete at a national level when he doesn't play underwater hockey. Advancing down the pool.
We see Great Britain trying to keep possession of the puck and a good 45-degree swim. Some good tackles from New Zealand, but we can see that Great Britain's managed to put it all the way close to the New Zealand sub box, and they still retain possession of that puck. Oh, but here's a breakout from New Zealand, number 2, Nikolai Heidker.
Yeah, he was like away there, but he just didn't keep swimming, and here goes the stereotypical layoff. Aidan Heath couldn't get through that time. Here's the captain, number 6, Samuel Twigg.
Some great puck possession by New Zealand, managed to switch it again. Holding off to possession, trying to get it back towards the middle.
Yeah, GB trying to do the best to stop the New Zealand advancement, and Aidan Heath busts up the middle, picked up a loose pass, and Jake Sharnock just raised his hands to say, like, what was that? And it's going to count, and it's, as I said, Aidan Heath with the second goal. New Zealand taking convincing early lead, leading by 2 goals.
Yeah.
This is a similar story to what happened yesterday with, it came a little bit later, but South Africa, they went down. They went up ahead against the GB team really early on. And it's the Spanish who, they looked really, really dangerous in their semi-final. against New Zealand, and the Kiwis only narrowly won it. The Spanish got a late goal, but the penalty that saw them, New Zealand go to 3-1 up is what made the difference. And New Zealand just look so comfortable here, doing what their men's team couldn't do against Turkey yesterday, just free-flowing play in the middle of the pool, moving it about with ease. Look at that as he cuts back to the inside channel, goes on a 45 and then here comes another 45. Come on, GB, try and stop us.
You can see that GB is all over the place right now because New Zealand is making them move. They're moving freely.
But that's the huge advantage of these 45 swims that the Kiwis do. They're not going to swim straight at you. They make you change your body position to say, right, I'm going this way. And then when they lay the puck off to the supporting player, if that defender is completely wiped out the game because he's facing the wrong way, and if there's somebody coming to support, they've got to change their body position and are naturally weaker, stopping the other guy. That's why the Kiwis do it, and it's proving to be such a strong play here. Is GB
Very
just can't get
efficient
set, but now they have a chance. Oh, lazy work there by Isaac Rhodes-Dawson.
That was a little too early for a flick.
Oh, absolutely. Declan McNulty now, the captain, breaking down the left-hand side. Gets the flick off and into the centre. Now GB have a chance to use their boys. Will Tarling, it's behind him, but here's Isaac Rhodes-Dawson again with the leopard print fins.
Ooh. Try to flick through the opposition, but the opposition managed to block it. And now New Zealand's on the counter-attack.
Heidegger again, lovely little play underneath the body, and then away goes.
Nice tackle over here.
GB, it's Toby Curl.
Nice flick, blocked
he
by
follows
the
up. Lovely follow-up there. He had to commit to his fig. I think GB are relying too much on these big flicks. It's it's not working early on, and especially the play that we saw and commented on, that Isaac Rhodes-Dawson, number 9 for GB.
That is a nice pass after a great defending by that.
Surely a foul coming here for a stick tackle, maybe an advantage being played. No.
Actually, there is a referee that was playing advantage. The advantage is over.
Aidan Heath swimming out, scoring the goal
And
that
another
doubled the
45
lead
degrees.
as the player leaves his legs in the way to obstruct the guy coming through, but there is an advantage being played on the surface. That's over now as New Zealand still advancing down the pool, a counter-attacking swim, but a nice drive in Fraser. And here's Aidan Heath for his second goal, and it looks like it's gone in. No, not Aidan Heath, number 10 I think that was.
Didn't get to see the number.
Yeah, it's number 10 again. It's Heath Galloway. I mean, as long as I just say Heath, I've got a 50% chance of getting it right.
Whether last name or first name still works.
Yeah.
And we've got a timeout for GB, who will probably want to gather around.
Yeah, unsurprising really, as they've taken a hammering so far in the opening 6 minutes. Obviously they wouldn't have wanted to do that, but these boys need to band together, and as we saw them coming down the pool, it was a great swim. Toby Curl just a little bit isolated as he had his attack on the goal, stopped with a really nice catch using the stick. That's how these players are taught to do it, and doing it legally to make sure that his team weren't penalised, the Kiwi player at the back, and we've just got to...
Yeah, that was a perfect save.
So it's going to be interesting to see what GB can come up with here as a response to this New Zealand attack.
I think all they have to do is focus on the positives, as they know they can get into New Zealand half. They were 2 meters away from the goal, so if they get their number in, making sure they don't get beat with those 45-degree swim, I mean, they still have a chance. I mean, when you think about it, you still got 25 minutes of hockey in front of you, so it's not over yet. No,
it's far from over. Just need to gather. But if you're gonna keep doing things like, you have to work as a team, and you could see the player was down and in a good position. But the problem that I had with what Isaac was doing when we commented on that flick was that he's picking up the puck in that position, and then as soon as he gives it to his forward, what chance does that forward have? If the puck's played behind him like it was, the defender will always have the advantage, and it proved there where he was picked off really easily.
Yeah, absolutely, because normally when you make a pass, you want to make sure that pass gets through the opposition, that it actually beats one player, or else it's kind of pointless.
It's kind of an easy thing to defend as well when you think about the guy in that situation, because it's like, I think the last thing you want as a defender, I'm not a defender, so I could be completely wrong, but you don't want to have two guys from that. If you're defending somebody one-on-one, you know what, you can come up a lot of the time because the puck's coming towards you rather than going past you. But if you've got to try and stop if you're trying to stop a swim, or
that might be an interesting call right here
against GB barging. But yeah, if you've got two guys swimming at a defender, then you've got to defend the swim and the passing option, and you've got to get your body shape absolutely right because if you end up being turned around and there's two guys trying to double team you, then
There's not a lot you can do. Not a lot.
but at this level you see a lot of these guys still come away with a puck because they're just that good. So on the wall, Tom Snuttall lays it off, and going down is Declan McNulty. He's had an amazing tournament, the captain for Great Britain. Really set the standard in what they should be aspiring to. GB finished second in the round robin and got to the final thanks to a quarter-final win over Canada, and then they also had a semi-final win over South Africa yesterday. Quite a close game, 5-4. Very exciting game to.
Oh yeah, it was a
commentate
lot
on.
of back. I think they came from behind like 3 or 4 times. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
they never took the lead
Oh,
the
we have
first
a
time.
player that threw a mask out. So I think a GB player has a mask broken, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
Hard to see. Back underwater.
New Zealand narrow 45s this time, staying in the central channel. It's like you feel like you've dispossessed the Kiwis, and then it's like, oh wait, there's another one coming. They're not bothered, they just move out of the way, and here's the swim on the goal, forced wide this time by GB, but was it done so legally?
Nope. Illegally stopping the puck. Called by the referee.
Yeah. So the player receiving the puck controlling it illegally rather than the defender who's trying to knock it down.
So free for GB. Straight to their right wall. Close to the sub boxes. They actually have a good drive right now.
Yeah, they've proved they're capable of pulling off a good drive, but then just everybody seems to go up at once, and then you can't attack and expect to beat any team in a final with just ones and twos.
Exactly. Especially the New Zealanders, whenever they see space, you know where they're going. They're going towards the middle. Trying to open up the play. And
Cool.
another layoff.
There's Aidan Heath, recognisable by the long hair.
Great dummy.
Puts it into the centre.
Puck stays in the middle, but defended by GB. They put in their own corner. Ooh, that was a good tackle.
Trying to come out down the wall there.
But as you can see, New Zealand is very strong at keeping them in their 5-meter zone. Oh, great anticipation by the forward, but the GB defender managed to cover that.
Play still just being suspended in the corner. This will suit New Zealand as there's now only 20 minutes remaining in the match, 5 within this half of play. Here's an option if you can move it to the centre. Good stop by GB there. Swimming backwards now. Then forwards. Aidan Heath waiting for the pass to flick through
that's a
onto the
good
goal
flick.
tray. Good save by Isaac Rhodes-Dawson.
Ooh, took a long time to get rid of that puck.
Yeah, I said when we were looking at the under-24 women's game that you just can't spend that much time in front of your own goal.
Oh no. That can be very, very costly.
So New Zealand advantage puck. Number 5, Aidan Heath waiting on the surface. Referees are ready.
Number 12 takes the puck. Thomas Hold'em.
Oh, that was an interesting tactic. Not seen that before from this New Zealand team.
Trying to lay it off. Try to make the... Ooh, that's a huge flick. Pretty close to the goal. Well defended by GB. Managed to get it out of the zone. Oh. But we have a call on the surface.
Yeah, you always wonder when those players start swimming.
Oh,
Referee timeout, so I think they're going to talk about an illegal stop on the tray.
potential penalty shot or penalty goal.
Yeah, so let's see which referee it is that called it. There's John Coulson with his back to us. Stephen Carr's on the deck. And
Ezekiel, that is the one who called the referee timeout.
yeah, Ezekiel
Sure.
Russo, the referee from Spain. Refereed the European final in Castellon just about a month ago. And as we look at the way the game's shaping up, that advantage puck was great by New Zealand. Just say one guy saying, I'm going to take it in, and as soon as I meet contact, I'm going to turn. And I was thinking, where are New Zealand guys? Why is there nobody in that line? Have they got confused about who the call was for? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, 3 of them then followed him in support. And then all that happened was, as soon as he made contact, he was like, right, here's the layoff, which one of you's taking it into the pack? And then it was, I think, number 11 on the left-hand side, which is Benjamin Cushman, who delivered that huge flick onto the tray. And I think they're discussing how how it was cleared. And obviously VAR is a big thing in this country at the moment. We don't have VAR for underwater hockey.
Who knows? Maybe one day. Oh, it's just gonna be an advantage puck. So no penalty shot, no penalty goal.
So the referees, I think, discussing there to say there has been a foul. And
where did it happen?
I've seen a foul happen, but I want to know what you think and what you've seen from these players in these positions. As referees very good at not focusing on where the puck is all the time. They look around, and he might have had the information to say there was a foul. New Zealand looks like they've got fourth.
Referees on the surface looking to confirm, and we have a goal by number 3, Nikolai Heidger. But yeah, I've actually ref one game of these New Zealand, and they do something that I've never seen the New Zealand do before. Because normally on the advantage pucks, they have their center taking the puck, swimming either sideway or forward. But now I've seen that their forwards are actually taking the puck, a little bit Colombian style or Argentinian style, which is very interesting.
Timeout taken by the New Zealand coach Warwick King, and he'll spend some time talking to his team, praise them possibly for what's happened. And if you think this is a familiar situation, then GB have trailed to New Zealand by 4 goals in the past. Strangely this time, not to dob the referees in it, but they've allowed 3 delegates or domestiques, however you'd like to say, onto the pool side, and the rule is you're only allowed 2.
Oh,
I didn't tell anyone, and all the referees have left the Amiga suite, so
it's a final game. We could tolerate it.
I know. I wonder what would happen if somebody protested that. Say GB come back, they win 5-4, and then they say, nope, too many people on poolside. The game's forfeit. I don't know what the rules are. I don't have a rules master in here. John Coulser, who'd advise me of such things, and would have surely noticed that they have 3 on the deck. Because you're only allowed 4 people to be involved in the game, up to 2 in the water, and up to 2 on the side. Joseph comments alongside me as one of the refereeing representatives from Canada. As New Zealand drive again, 3 minutes remain in the first half, and GB, well, I normally say after about 2 goals that, GB have to score next to remain in the game, but this is a little bit of an exaggeration on that fact. Nice to see the stand so full up at the top. As we look, we've got GB mostly to the left, and then there's
Kiwis
to the right, and everybody else up on top, and a chance to break out for Isaac Rhodes-Dawson. That was nice, a better flick, but where was the forward? No dedication from the GB team.
No support
to try and stay down.
Yeah. Oh, and that was some great skills from the New Zealand forward. The layoff to number 11, Benjamin Cushman, tries to center the puck, leaves it to number 13.
Here's Sam Twigg.
Ooh, that flick, I don't know, did that hit something?
I wonder if it hit somebody on the underside of the body.
Doesn't seem like it. The referees seem to be happy with it. And they're confirming the goal once again to number 3, Nikolai Heidger, who was at the right spot to finish it.
It was good play, though, by the captain, Sam Twigg. He was the one who sort of kept that little bit of a play alive. There was a loose puck, he was down on it, and then everybody sort of gathered around him, and it was him who had the flick, and it looked like it had just sort of flicked up and bounced down off the chest of one of the other players. Aidan Heath straight out to the puck.
Tries to dummy through. Doesn't work this time. Puck remains in the middle. GB tried. Oh, that is not a precise flick. This is why it's very important to have precise flicks. I mean, if you just throw it like 1 meter in front of your teammate, you can easily lose possession and concede a lot of ground.
Yeah, you need accurate flicking, not distance on them. You need to be in control of where they finish every single time. Obstruction. No, barging against New Zealand, and number 8, Will Heaps, will be going to spend a minute on the side. There he goes, he's out.
Well, you could see it's a well-deserved break.
Yeah, nice little test for New Zealand to see what happens when they're down to 5. See if GB can be up to the task of getting down to the other end, because New Zealand will just be happy to hold it there for a minute. They'll not draw any fouls and just get GB to come in and play, and there's Kai Parkin trying to battle down the left hand side. In and out turns Matthew Dawson, and now away go New Zealand with Benjamin Cushman.
Doesn't even look like New Zealand is a player down.
No, they just have this great tolerance to just go up, take one breath, and then get down and really maximise the fact that when the game stops, there's 4. That's a big hit by Kai Parkin, as one of his coaches at Batley, Hayden Pitchforth, calls him Kai Bosch.
And this will end the first half.
Yes, it will. And I'm just going to swap you out for a second, Joseph, if that's all right.
That's all right.
Because I'm delighted to be joined by Martin Robert Hall, who has been involved with the Great Britain squads, all 4 of them that have got here. So, first of all, Martin, quite a scoreline at half-time in favour of New Zealand. What would you be saying, or what do these boys need to really think about as they get ready for the second half?
Well, I think when you come out to the second half, regardless of when you're winning or losing, you've got to treat it as a new start. You forget what's been and gone. If you start focusing on the scoreline, which has been our message all the time, then you'll lose focus, and you can easily find your motivation dipping. And when you analyse the first half, if you look at it, there was a couple of chances really close for GB to get back into the game when it was 2-0. I think if they would have got that goal, then you may have seen, what New Zealand haven't done is concede many goals in the whole tournament. So it's just getting that goal. It was very close. I think, again, second half, have to come out strong, try and get that goal early. And we've seen it in previous tournaments. The lads have been speaking about it. You've got a chance then to turn it around. And one of the messages we've had all the way through with all the teams is you've got to keep the belief high regardless of scoreline. And it's just that, it's keeping the belief really high. And you can actually see from the team and, just watching them how much they're fighting for each other, and the team spirit is there, the work rate is there. It's just, they've just got to maintain that energy level. Because
that's one of the hardest things I think I pick up on it as a commentator, that, even though you've got this scoreline that's reflected at the top, this team can't beat themselves, because it's right that they can be frustrated at what's happening, but they can't take it out on each other. They can't lose that togetherness and the team spirit, which you said is so important, because as soon as that's out the window, then the game, they're beating themselves. And I don't think this team will do that. I think just by watching them in the first half, I think in the nature of the way they won the last game, you could see that they were constantly losing throughout the game and just kept coming back, and that those sort of moments really solidify that team spirit. And I think there in the final, you're just going to see that relentlessness all the way through, as much as capacity and physical levels will allow. And then you're just going on reserves and purely just it's a mentality just to keep pushing your body beyond what it believes it can go. And I think that's what you'll see in the second half, and hopefully get a goal and maybe challenge them. Yeah, I think if GB were to get a goal, of course, that'll give them a massive positive boost. And then it's like the pendulum's obviously heavily on New Zealand's side. Yeah. But the more that GB attack and put them under pressure, the more it begins to swing in their favour. And
just want to put one chink in their armour, don't you? Then see how they respond.
Yeah, you've got to start little bit by little bit, and they start with a 6-on-5 advantage when we get underway, because Bernie might well have told you during some of it that his men's team, they were down 4-0 in the opening 5 or 6 minutes at the World Championships in Stellenbosch, and then they chipped away 1 goal at a time and ended up winning 5-4 in regulation. So you can't say, especially with sport, that GB couldn't
look
come
at
back.
This now. You've got all the players on the floor of the pool, and that's it. Just to give themselves the best possible chance.
Yeah. So it's New Zealand coming. No, it's GB on the attack now. Trying to figure out which way people are going after swapping around at half time. Joseph Ravanga has disappeared, so I can keep hold of Martin a little bit longer. He's in the hot seat. And there's Declan McNulty, the captain.
So look, positive start straight away, fighting. All of the team are there on the floor of the pool, ready to attack.
And this is one's gone in.
That's
Absolutely fantastic start.
Come on.
GB doing exactly what was required by them. And I don't know, are we on loudspeaker? Did they hear your halftime team talk there about exactly what they had to do?
I don't think so.
Out?
They know it's already within them now.
Yeah, and that's part of the training, part of Andrew Stillwell's
ingrained in them now.
Vision to try and get to 2019 home age groups and try and get 4 teams through to the final. That was achieved, and what can they come? We've had disappointment at the start with 2 close games, the under-19 and the under-24 women missing out on close games, and GB now starting to, they've got 1 foot on the mountain, Martin.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's just what we were asking for. Start of the half, couldn't have a better start, and now they get confidence from that, and ultimately, it's a game of two halves now. You've got the confidence GB take from that, and also how do New Zealand react to conceding a goal?
Yeah, always two sides to the coin, and it's New Zealand who have this advantage puck. So New Zealand electing to go into the centre. Go find Gary. So unfortunately, the camera stopping so far in this match. So we'll endeavour to get that back with you. And it's going to be an advantage puck to Great Britain. So Great Britain still able to try and put the pressure on, held out well there and drew the New Zealand team into fouls. I mean, for New Zealand, obviously they just conceded that last goal, but I think they are still, with the scoreline, very much in control of the game.
Yeah.
And I think for that team, they just don't change anything. They just say, okay, we've conceded one, but we need to stick to our game plan, keep our heads, let's not implode and have all this.
Yeah, look, it's a tall order. These are probably the fittest, most well-drilled team, and you're going to have to go beyond limits, do something really special to actually challenge them. And you can't ever expect a team that are going to start giving up or throwing the game, but you've got to try your very best to just place that doubt in the mind. And show them that you're actually going to take the game to them, and you're not just there to see how and play a defensive damage limitation game.
Isaac Rhodes-Dawson trying to move down the side. He loses out to the New Zealand number 8, William Heaps. And coming down, little turn to get inside. That's Toby Curl. Toby Curl moving. He turns. He lays the puck off in New Zealand style to his own support. And here's Jake Charnock trying to make a break on the goal. He's got support to his outside, but it's great defence by New Zealand as the puck comes out. Now let's see what this call is. This could be interesting. Playing an advantage for a stick foul on Toby Curl. Great Britain have an advantage as Mick Hyde tries to G up the crowd. Just pan. It's just not panning. So thankfully GB have the advantage puck in front of our camera, but timeout taken by Warwick King, the New Zealand coach. The crowd falls silent, and a chance for GB to put another foot up the mountain and carry on climbing. So we're going to get our divers in and try and either put up 2 cameras or
you can see there the GB boys, you can see the spirit, the confidence of the group, the talking, saying come on, they're keeping each other's spirits high, and they're going to give this everything they've got, leave everything they've got in the pool.
Yeah, absolutely, because once that final buzzer goes and the referee shouts time, there is absolutely no more you can do. There is nothing extra. Whatever happens after this match goes down in history. Some people get a name on a trophy, others will just get a silver medal to take home. So GB in the corner, Declan McNulty trying to stop the New Zealand attack breaking out. There's Declan McNulty down again. No, that's Toby Curl. Curl trying to twist and turn out of the New Zealand challengers. GB pinning New Zealand in their half. 10 minutes to go. The task for the moment, a goal every 2 minutes for Great Britain. Something that's not beyond them. But time and the odds stacked against them as New Zealand now try to move out of their end. Trying to move through the centre, but New Zealand pick off the puck. Making their way down. The flick forward. And away come GB, but the loose pass sees New Zealand take it over to the side wall. Play moving slowly in GB's favour. 9:45 left on the clock. The flick into the centre. It's a good pickup, and Matthew Dawson is trying to turn the corner here. Matthew Dawson with a puck on his stick. Can he inside flick it towards the goal? No. But his supporting players there. But the puck still moves out to the corner. That was Jackson Spry with the effort. You can see the referee just getting a good view of what's going on in the corner as Matthew Dawson tries to move the puck out. Lovely curl. Can this player move it forward? It's Caleb Pullen, the only remaining player from Hobart in the team. Aidan Heath trying to break out of his own end. And there goes Aidan Heath. Aidan Heath still going. But it's New Zealand still with the puck. Time just being removed from GB.
And this is great stuff from GB. If you look, it's been nearly 7 minutes of pressure from GB in this half now. So that shows you, doesn't it? You know that actually the reset at half time, they've come out, they've got the early goal. New Zealand now defending really well, but the pressure is all coming from GB, whereas in the first half it was the other way around.
Referees take a timeout to decide upon what will happen. So Martin, since we're going on to backup cameras, can I just give you that controller? It should connect. Basically just use the left toggle and it lets you look left and right. So let's get underwater.
Okay.
So there we go. GB, the initial phase stopped. And New Zealand managed to clear. Good strong hit on the left hand side. Actually that'll be okay. Let's play stays. No, it says it's Thomas Nuttall, but it's not. It's the captain Samuel Twigg of New Zealand who's out on the side. GB with a drive onto the tin, and this looks like it's another one back. Let's see who the goal scorer was. Number 13, Jake Charnock. Yeah. So, GB with another foot up the mountain, making advantage of that power play. 3 more goals for them to get back into this match. Martin said that it is a mountain, but you can't. It's not that they can't climb it. They're taking it 1 goal at a time. Great Britain.
As you said, Lewis, you know, we've done it before. Come back from 4 down to win 5-4. It's a big task, but it's not impossible.
It's New Zealand now on the attack. Play moving into the GB defensive third. They need to make their way out of here. 3 more goals, still the challenge. A goal every 2 minutes. And the clock will stop in the last 2 minutes if they can just close up the game. We've got a stoppage in play though now. And the referee in picture is saying that Declan McNulty needs to leave. Declan McNulty needs to leave for 1 minute. I think it's number 2 for 1 minute. We'll get confirmation of that when it comes up on the screen. But chance for New Zealand maybe to extend their lead as the clock just ticks over 6 minutes. No, Declan McNulty, the captain, 2 minutes. Can GB survive without him? They survived the first wave, but still what will feel like an eternity for Declan to go. GB must defend. This stoppage will aid them. And the foul goes in their favour. Advantage will be to Great Britain on their own 5-2 as the puck's taken out of the corner. Every foul that goes in favour of Great Britain does a job for New Zealand, as well as the clock runs down every time play is stopped, and GB still need to work their way down to the other end and score. It's New Zealand keeping the pressure on that extra player. You can just see they're dropping down and hanging back, the mentality being that as long as they defend the swim with that extra player back, they'll still be okay because they can preserve their lead, which is at the moment 3 goals. That lead has been going down, but for the moment New Zealand continue to attack and try and extend. A good flick through, knocked down really nicely by Isaac Rhodes Dawson as he comes over towards the camera across from the GB subs bin. Lovely bit of individual skill, but a good tackle to match. Toby Curl trying to force a way down the wall. Another 30 seconds till Declan McNulty is back in. Can he redeem himself out of the penalty box? As New Zealand move the puck to the middle. Maybe a more defensive effort by New Zealand in the second half. However, they know what their task was to do. They've played the same game. The defence has bent a little bit in conceding the 2 goals, but it's not broken completely, as they now have an advantage puck. Aidan Heath down to try and swim it through. Into the centre. New Zealand still with all the bodies down, just going through a few phases, and this looks like it'll be an advantage after an illegal stop. In the referee timeout, we'll discuss where was the puck going to drop to and exactly what would the result have been if it hadn't been stopped. So in situations like this, Martin, obviously the players have to wait for a decision. We saw one down the other end which took a long time, and there was one in the girls' game, the under-24 women's, which took a long time. What should you be sort of discussing and thinking about here? Because obviously the decision that comes after it in very close games can have an immediate effect on players, whether they think they've been fouled upon and a player gets sent out, and after that decision's made, there's not a lot of time for you to respond to that change as a team or an individual. So how do you counteract the decisions made by referees, whether you are agreeing with them or against them?
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult. I think you've just got to stay calm and keep your emotions detached from the uncontrollables, really. So when decisions are for you or against you, you've just got to keep calm and stay in the same mindset. And as difficult as that is, I think you'll find there'll be certain players relaying those messages around the team.
Play by New Zealand, still lots of the bodies down. There's the goalie turning and trying to get the flick off. Aidan Heath stays down. Aidan Heath puts in the goal, which restores a 4-goal lead. And not that it's nice to think about it, as Kai Parkin sits in the sin bin just after Declan got back in. That now maybe, because it's over a goal a minute, the game just out of reach for Great Britain, unfortunately. But a very, very good performance in this men's final, especially doing what they needed to, coming out of the gate at half-time down by 5 goals.
Yeah, it shows the fine margins in sport, doesn't it? That if that goal had come slightly earlier at 2-0, then this could be a different game, but they're the fine margins of sport.
Still, and it's always hard to think, because you were so close to the championship, but this men's team, which obviously has got head coach Bernie Tarling, who's the same coach for the elite men, they've had a phenomenal rise from, they've worked really hard to get to this level, and they can't forget about that. Yes, they are the runners up, but they will come away with a silver medal. It's not like an individual event where you finish second beating others. All the work has been done throughout the tournament, and maybe a late sucker punch here by New Zealand, and Aidan Heath grabs another one to add to the play, and insult to injury. Declan McNulty's getting sent out of the water for a call of unsportsmanlike conduct, and Bernie Tarling is going to take his timeout.
Bernie will just be wanting to calm things down now. New Zealand obviously have soaked up the pressure for much of this second half, but now just started to see a couple of gaps and apply themselves again, and that relentless effort from GB will take its toll eventually, and it's just having that mental fortitude to keep going.
Play gets underway, and here goes New Zealand burning the afterburners as they come down to the left hand side as they attack. Still going here, number 11 for New Zealand, Benjamin Cushman. Big flick across and into the centre. Moving in, the flick forward. Isaac Rhodes-Dawson picks this up, takes his time to survey the field, but time is not a factor you get at the elite level in this sport. You need to be organised, need to move the puck quickly. 60 seconds remain in the game. Unfortunate that Declan McNulty sees this final out by being on the side. Flick forward, caught by the Kiwi player, comes off on the 45. Has a chance, flicks it across into the centre. Still going there. Looks like Ben Cushman. Chance for New Zealand to wriggle through the centre. It's defended really well. The layoff. GB cut it out. Benjamin Cushman once again coming off the wall. A big flick to the inside. Lovely little Deke there, and GB just recover. Kai Parkin with the stop. Stoppage in play against New Zealand as they control the puck illegally, using the glove to knock it down as opposed to the stick. Advantage Great Britain from their own defensive end. 30 seconds still to go. They're going to finish the game with 5 and came close on a number of occasions in this game. If they were just able to convert when Toby Curl had a little swim through earlier. New Zealand attacking once again. The difference in this game, the numbers on the bottom, and the way that New Zealand have been able to drive in the threes and fours, beating the individuals that are down, and goals scored by possibly the difference maker and my most valuable player. I don't know if I get to vote for it. I've just been told to keep checking. But Benjamin Cushman really had a positive impact every time he was on the puck, the way he moved it around, and he just used his little tricks to get through. A scoreline 8-2 to New Zealand. Obviously it's the final match, and they've done incredibly well to get to this point, the GB team. Unfortunate that the scoreline is so much, but the first half performance, because of the way that GB were chasing the game and attacking as much as they could, hard to pull that back. But if this was a team that would then play again tomorrow or play again next week or the week after, you've got to say that you'd be proud as a manager or the coach that you came out in the exact way that they needed to respond. And obviously there's lessons you can learn about the first half, but you also said at half-time, Martin, whatever is in the past is in the past. You can't change that.
Absolutely. I think in the heat of the moment you can't change it, but once the game is done, you can analyse, you can look for areas for improvement, you can reflect on, and then as long you use in the past to learn to improve the future. Mm-hmm. In the heat of the moment at half-time you can't. You've got to scrub it and go again, and apply yourself. And they did that in the second half, and unfortunately it just wasn't enough. They couldn't maintain it. That relentless pressure and energy that they pinned them back in their own half for much of the second half. But in the end, that took its toll on the team. But like you say, plenty of lessons, plenty of pride, I'm sure, from everybody involved. And in the match, they did what they could. They controlled what they could control, and they gave their best.
Well, sorry, Martin, but I'm going to have to cut you off there. We need to prepare for another final in the under-24 women's division. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you at half-time in the second men's final coming up in just about an hour's time.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
See you then.
Right.